What's going on, guys? Gary here with Raz Group. Today we're going to be taking a look at first episode of our kind of product focus series that we're going to be doing in conjunction with the brand breakdown series. And that first product is Dryfire Mag. So I kind of have some mixed feelings about the Dryfire Mag, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts at the end here. Dryfire Mag is a dry fire aid device designed to give you a trigger reset without having to rack your slide. It's essentially the highlight of it. I think it's a little bit complicated once you go to the Smart Dryfire Mag, which I have sitting right over here, kind of their laser version. It's even more complicated, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to show you how to install it, how to use it, the shortcomings of it, the benefits of it, and you guys can make your own determination if this is something for you or not. So first off, the Dryfire Mag has to be specific to your model of firearm. It is not a universal fit. So I'm a big Glock guy. Glocks are what I use. Therefore, I have the Glock Dryfire Mag. Now, when you go to use this, notice, obviously make sure everything's clear and safe. This is. So now notice how I just depressed my trigger, broke my trigger, right? I have a dead trigger here in my, safe dead gun. So I'm going to insert the Dryfire Mag. Okay. Dryfire Mag's inserted. I still have a dead trigger. Now I'm going to rack it. Still have a dead trigger, right? Kind of weird. So the one thing you have to make sure that you're doing, it's kind of a bitch to get out too, is you have to make sure your trigger is forward. So your slide is racked. Make sure that's in there so it seats properly. Now, as you can notice, I'm going to rack it again. Now the first trigger pull on these is going to be weirdly heavy and weirdly long. Sorry, I can't talk today. So that shot just broke. Now after that, it gives me repeated trigger pulls. And it comes with a variety of spring weights that you can install into that top of the Dryfire Mag, like what you saw. I'll take it out and show you again, obviously. But I have the heaviest one in mine. I believe it comes stock with the heaviest spring installed. So it gives you a little bit heavier of a trigger pull, for each consecutive pull of the trigger. Right, that first one's always going to be tough, but after that, they're always going to be pretty consistent, and you can change the weights to match what your actual pull weight really is. Now, I think this is a good option and a good item for somebody who is just getting into proficient with a firearm, just understanding their fundamentals, because it is letting you experiment with your grip under recoil, right? It's hard to do this in front of a camera. Where's the dot? There it is. So hard to, when you first start, like really control that grip in conjunction with that trigger manipulation. As we teach, as we go to classes, as we talk to other vetted instructors, we know your trigger, your trigger pull per se isn't necessarily that important anymore. It's more about the manipulation you can do with the trigger and having that grip locked in and be sufficient. So I do think this is a good option for that. I like it for the fact that I can dry fire with a Glock and get multiple pulls of the trigger. That's pretty cool. Now, we're going to get into kind of a laundry list of issues I have with the Dryfire Mag. One, the price. Depending on where you get it from, you can get this either from Brownells or from Dryfire Mag directly. I'm sure some other places, but the price is coming in at anywhere from $95 to $105 for this, right? For this piece of mechanical, aid. I guess for some people that's not so bad. I think it would be more fairly priced in the $50 to $60 range. My other issue is that you're seeing more and more triggers and more firearms come out onto the market that already have kind of a forced reset. So you can manipulate that trigger during dry fire without one of these aids. You know, the Smith & Wesson M&P series, I know that that has kind of a forced reset trigger. The Timney Alpha triggers come out. For the people that that trigger works for, that gives you a forced reset trigger. So ultimately, I don't think that, I don't know if this is necessarily a necessity for a lot of people, especially at the price point. My other issue is, like you saw when I was extracting it from my Glock 17, is you can't drop this mag and essentially practice, you know, your multiple trigger pull engagements, drop a magazine, simulate a reload, and then keep going, right? If you drop this mag, you lose that. And I don't know. I think that there could be, and I think this is a good concept. I really do. I think anything to enhance your dry fire and anything to help a more beginner to intermediate level shooter is a great idea. At the same time, though, for the price point and for what its functionality is and what it does, mixed with what's kind of available from some guns straight out, right out of the market, I don't know if this is necessarily it. I've done a lot of reps with this Dryfire mag. I think it's great. It definitely helped me isolate my grip coming at when I was, you know, relatively novice and still learning my fundamentals. I just don't know if this is worth the money, especially compared to other dry fire aids on the market, which I like to judge a product based on its own standalone merit and principle. However, it would be kind of ignorant to ignore the fact that there are tons of other dry fire aids on the market that simulate, you know, actual reciprocation of the slide, give you feedback based on lasers and target data, and it's just, for $100, I mean, you're halfway to some of the most advanced dry fire aids you can possibly have from other companies. So I don't know. I think this is a little overpriced. I think for what it does, it definitely works. But at the same time, I don't know if that's the most important thing for everybody when it comes to dry fire. Like I said, a beginner intermediate shooter, I think it's not a horrible idea. But you can't, but the price isn't, you know, adequate in my opinion. I think it's a little overpriced. You can't drop the mag and simulate reloads while still getting the benefits out of this. You have to be pretty specific how you install it. All in all, I don't hate it, but I'm not in love with it. I would say that as far as like a rating scale for this first like product focus, I would give this, I guess I would say a 5 out of 10. I mean, it has some use, but I'm not super excited on it. So that's my thoughts on the Dryfire mag. That's kind of where I'm at. If you guys appreciate this content, appreciate my opinion for whatever it's worth to you, feel free to subscribe, comment, you know, share the video, follow us on Instagram over at _RASGroup. The website, rasgrouptraining.com. Check that out, see what we have to offer, get to know us a little bit. All of our bios are on there. And, you know, feel free to comment on any other products you guys think that we should take a look at and give some honest feedback and opinions on. So we're happy to do this. We just want to kind of throw some genuine opinions out there instead of everybody looking to, you know, gun influencers and people that really don't have any end user experience in the realm of this culture, giving you their unsolicited opinions while making a paycheck off of your views. So that's kind of why we're starting this and, you know, trying to put this content out there. But in the meantime, you guys stay safe, stay trained, stay rad. See you at the next one.